my name is Josh Linkner, and I am so excited to be sharing some ideas and answering questions from the innovation generation. People all over the world that are focused on starting businesses, becoming entrepreneurs, and reaching their true potential. So I want to start today with a question from Nepal. And the question is, what qualities must a good CEO have? What do they need to possess? Well, it's a very tough thing to be a CEO, but also incredibly rewarding because it allows you to make a huge impact on the world, not only creating individual wealth, but serving customers and creating jobs. The qualities, of course, are varied, and there are different types of CEOs, but the ones that we look for as investors in brand new CEOs, startup CEOs, are a few. First of all, passion. Hands down, it's got to start with passion. There's a great old quote that the most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. If you don't have a passion for what you're doing, a passion to win, a passion to serve your customers, it's going to be very difficult to get through the challenging times, because certainly there are many along the entrepreneurial journey. The other thing is being open-minded and coachable. In other words, passion without ego. Someone who is open to other people's ideas, who puts the company's goals first, above and beyond their own, and who doesn't become irrational and just focused on their own existence, but really focuses on the collective good. Third one I'll share is grit and determination. Good old-fashioned willingness to do whatever it takes in order to win. The entrepreneurial journey is a difficult one, but it's made much easier if the leadership team and the CEO specifically are so passionately committed to success, knowing that they're going to get knocked down, knowing that there's going to be setbacks, but having the grit and determination to do whatever it takes in order to win. Here in Detroit, we talk about our CEOs as street fighters, and it takes almost a street fighter mentality to win in a highly competitive environment. So recapping: passion, humbleness and open-mindedness, and a grit and determination, that scrappy sense of winning no matter whatever it takes. Great, so we're going to now move on to a question from Messe Solomon of Ethiopia. And the question is, could you tell us your thoughts on business ethics and corporate social responsibility? Absolutely. For some reason, some people feel that you have to either do well financially or support your community. And really the answer is that it's an and, not an or. There's an absolute opportunity to do well and do good at the same time. Now, I think that companies' primary responsibility is to their shareholders and to make money. And even though that's sort of a non-popular thing to say, if you have a company that early on is so focused on the community and not enough on creating their own success, they're not going to have the resources to donate and to help the community. Now, I certainly would want to be ethical along the journey, but early on, just like a baby's responsibility early on is to themselves, companies' early on responsibilities is to reach a certain level of profitability and success. So the number one responsibility is survival and growth. From there, once you've achieved success, is a great opportunity to give back to the community. You know, when you think about how do communities grow, and we're in Detroit, which is a very challenged US-based major city. Communities grow certainly by contribution of governmental agencies, but more often than not, they grow based on the contribution of business leaders. And so, throughout history, business leaders and successful businesses have contributed to the common good. And I think as an entrepreneur is crafting their own journey, they should be very focused on, once they reach a certain level of success, how can they give back? In our case, we just hired 14 interns for the summer, and some of them were from very disadvantaged areas. And we felt by exposing them to opportunities that they would never ordinarily see, we'd be able to contribute and make a difference. So sometimes you can make a difference not only financially, but with your time and expertise by sharing and helping others reach their own personal success. Third question is from Maliku from Afghanistan. And the question is, just because new employees are doing better jobs, should older ones be neglected? What are the means to keep older employees as competitive as the newer ones? It's a great question, and one that leaders struggle with really across the globe. One thing I'll tell you is that new employees can bring a fresh perspective, which is very important and needed in an organization. Sometimes people that have been there a long time become so entrenched with the way things have always been done that they fail to see new opportunities to innovate. Well, just like the newer employees bring an advantage, so do the older ones. And I say older more in terms of tenure than age. But people who've been around for a long time have a deep understanding of the marketplace. They understand the industry. They understand competitors. And I think that tapping into that wisdom is critical for companies to win. So a good leader has a balanced approach. They certainly learn what they can from fresh, new employees with a fresh, new perspective, but also are tapping into those that have been around the block, that have been through the wars, and have a really interesting perspective on the landscape and the competitors out there. So part of a leader's responsibility is to support both of those audiences, to help train the new ones, but also to train the older ones, to help them learn new and relevant skills, to help them be able to keep sharp, and to help them be able to make their biggest contribution to the organization, and ultimately in turn to their own success. Good, so now, here's one from Freddie Wongso from Indonesia. Sorry, Freddie. How do you handle customer complaints when starting a business? Great question. There are two ways to do it. One is you can be annoyed, disappointed, upset, frustrated, and disappointed. But that gets you nowhere. Being defensive isn't the way to go. Customer complaints should be thought of as a gift. When you're starting a business, if you have a customer that's willing to raise their hand and tell you why they're dissatisfied, that is incredibly valuable data. Don't take it personally. Don't get defensive. That customer is expressing something that probably many other customers may also feel. And it's a great opportunity to learn and continue to grow. A new startup is very much like a series of experiments. And it's very rare that somebody births a startup that is perfect and doesn't need change and refinement along the way. Rather, you might start with a little idea, but you need to tinker and explore and adapt and change that idea in order to ultimately create a large, successful enterprise. So customer feedback along the way is a great set of data, a great source of information to allow you to continue to adapt your business, your model, your technology, and the way that you serve your customers. And then last, we're going to answer a question here from a guest from Vietnam, which is, do you believe that managing a business is an art or a science? Is it an instinct or a set of skills and techniques that can be taught? Well, essentially, it's both. But if you had to choose one or the other, it's absolutely a skill that can be taught. The raw materials are intelligence, are compassion, empathy, and these are things that many, many people have, no matter where you went to school, no matter what your background or upbringing happens to be. The skills and techniques can be learned. And today we're living in an incredible era where those skills are readily available across the internet. There's videos like this one that can be instructive. There's amazing blogs and books that are available. There's YouTube videos on how to start a company. So there's a great set of tools, and the vast majority of skills that enable entrepreneurial success are ones that can be learned with discipline, focus, and patience. Once again, my name is Josh Linkner. It's been a true pleasure to answer your questions from around the world here at the Innovation Generation on Facebook. Thanks again for listening.